Hey everybody, welcome to the Lunar Lowdown with me, Sally Nerney. This is the lowdown for the full moon of June 14th, where we have the sun in the last degrees of Taurus and the moon directly across the way in the last degrees of Scorpio. And both sun and moon are square to Neptune, who sits in front of the constellation of Pisces, the fishes. Let's drop in and find out what wants to be known for this cycle of this full moon. The first image given to me is green leaves. This, I believe, is connected to our place in the northern hemisphere in the wheel of the year, where we find ourselves approaching and this cycle enfolding the summer solstice. This correlates to expansion and growth of the seeds that we have planted. And I feel that fullness, almost an unchecked growth that threatens to get just a little bit ahead of us. Too many weeds, our plants going outside of their borders, the trellises and supports perhaps groaning and bending under the weight of that which has expanded. And while this might be literally true in the gardens that you have planted, I mean it metaphorically. What plans and actions and courses of effort have we undertaken in 2022 that are now starting to bloom, starting to blossom, and maybe threatening to overwhelm us? I take those questions into myself and deepen into some star listening. I am offered the truth that one thing we know when we are born into this life is that eventually we shall die of this body and leave this incarnation. This fact brings urgency, brings clarity, as it is time to weed our gardens of the extra, to weed our gardens of that which is viable and healthy and a good idea, a good project, a positive plant. Yet we cannot do it all. As the sky turns from the peak of summer and begins to look forward into harvest, we are asked to trim that which we are tending, to find our priorities, and to pour our energies there. Under the bright light of summer solstice, we are asked to be honest and to assess for ourselves which parts of the garden need to go, to make room for that which remains to ripen and find its fullest expression. And as I drop down through the earth to the southern hemisphere, where the deep winter is to be reached, where the shortest day and the longest night will express, this wisdom holds as you are being asked to sort through the seeds that you have saved from last year's harvest and choosing those seeds that correspond to the projects and paths of action that you really want to take. I think actually the term I'm looking for is thinning the garden, right? We plant maybe 12 seeds because we know they're not all going to sprout, but maybe 10 do, and the garden really has space for 6. And so we have to thin out a few of those seedlings, even though they could be fine, but the space only has enough room for 6 to really meet their full potential. This is the metaphor for our lives now. Out of all the things that you are doing, what needs to stay and really receive the benefit of your time and attention and resources and talents? And for those of you in the South, the metaphor is sorting the seeds, looking carefully at the ones that have the most potential as you contemplate what you will put into your earth come spring in the Southern Hemisphere. Taurus and Scorpio, the energies of life and death, growth and limits. We meditate upon the perhaps unpleasant truth that the one thing we know when we are born into this life is that eventually we shall leave it. We are sobered, we are chastened by the truth of life and death. This full moon cycle, can you embrace these larger cosmic laws for your benefit? Can you resist trying to thwart them and overextend yourself in the garden of your life? Can you instead embrace the truth, giving life to that which you can, and passing into a sort of death that which is too much at this time? In this way, allowing that which is the priority to grow and ripen and bloom into its fullness and be in alignment with the stars. I know it may feel like a deep challenge to align with these cosmic truths, to accept that actually we cannot do it all. How do we let go of projects, initiatives that are meaningful to us, that we have put energy and time into already? I don't know that answer, but I invite you to shift your focus in your garden to that which is priority. Pay attention. The next few weeks should give us the clues for what goes and what remains in the garden of our lives. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.